This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa 914, which is a county, New York. Coming to you with another live video real quick. I know it's a little after 1 o'clock in the morning. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to those that usually listen to these videos. If you're not here, I'm sure you will catch the playback. I appreciate your view. I appreciate your support of this channel. Anyway, you guys, I was watching that movie. I think it's either a movie or a TV show. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm saying it's a movie. And so far, I've been watching clips of it on these YouTube streets, and it's called 1923. It's concerning what happened in this country and in Canada concerning the Native American children and how the United States and Canada had established these residential boarding schools to erase these people' language and culture. They wanted to Europeanize everyone that was not European. Shout out to the chat. But how are you going to sit up here and erase the true face, the true image of who God really is? Because everyone knows who the European is or the Caucasian European is. They don't really have a home. They are the children of Dr. Yaku. As far as I'm concerned, about anything I have ever learned about history or anything like that, I accept what the Nation of Islam said about those people, about those cave people. They are true savages, and they want to call the rest of the world savages. What they did to those children in those schools was disgusting, was inhumane, it was wrong, it was evil. And I don't mean no harm. I do believe that the Native American community needs to do something about that. I think they should talk about it, talk about that history, just like how the Jews talk about what happened during the Holocaust. It just seems like certain groups of people are uh, are picked in history to be, exploited and destroyed almost. They were trying to vanquish us off the face of the earth. My grandmother, mother, which is great grandma Barbosa, before she became a Barbosa, before she got married, she was a child in one of those residential schools. Because my great grandmother is Mohawk Native American. Yes, she's from New York. Her mother's from New York. Those people are from a certain section of New York. Yes, they are. So it's probably more than 5 generation New Yorker in my blood, but it is what the fuck it is. A shout out to the chat. Because my grandmother was not born until what? 19 I believe my grandmother was born in 1929, you guys. Because she was like a few years short of turning 100 years old. Shout out to my grandmother. Rest in peace. It is what the fuck it is. The history of this country is horrendous. The sins of this country will not be forgotten. The ground screams with the blood of our ancestors. I think Moonlight said it best the other day in one of her videos. Shout out to Moonlight for shining the light on the Native American indigenous people of this country, of this hemisphere. Shout out to Moonlight for talking about the truth, telling the truth as she knows it, as she knows it. Because I believe she's been doing her research, and I believe Moonlight is a little bit older than myself, so of course I know she talks to her family members and she gets the history lessons. She's taught. She been taught these things long time ago. I was taught these things long time ago because there are certain people in the family that you can actually talk to that are still living that you can get these history lessons on, that you can learn history from. You don't have to go to school to get this history. Shout out to the chat. But there is a reason why the white man studies us. Every nationality that is not considered Caucasian, he studies to the fullest. You know why? Because he wants to conquer over us. Shout out to the chat. The children of Dr. Yakub have not died, they are still here. And the children of those ancient demons are 10 times worse than the father and the mother and the grandparents. 10 times worse. We're getting ready to go through a time period in this country where there might be another civil war. I don't know. There is a very strong inclination that there will be some unrest. Look at what they're doing as they reporting about that news that's going on down there in Louisiana, trying to pinpoint that black man as being a lone agitator for whatever happened. See how they depicted black people? When we get angry, when we get frustrated with the system, see how they paint us? See how they put us in a box? I don't believe that man acted alone. Just like I don't believe Timothy McVeigh acted alone. There are people that are in the military. They are waking up to the evils of this country. Shout out to the chat. Oh, we got some ghost watchers this morning. We got some ghost watchers. But you're going to listen to the truth as far as I am concerned. As long as I'm here. And it's going to be the absolute truth. What happened in those residential schools was shameful. What happened during slavery was shameful. What happened during the Jim Crow era was shameful. And this country refuses to acknowledge the wrongs that she has done. Those that run this country, I mean, truly run this country, they getting ready to run it deep in the ground. I think Trump is promising to get rid of the deep state. There's no way he's going to be able to do it. Not in 4 years. Not in no kind of time. When they get tired of him, they're going to get rid of him too. Shout out to the chat. Anyone that talks up against the true hand that rules the whole nation, that rules the whole world, will be silenced. They will be vanquished. It has happened before. It has happened before. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of what they did to Clarence 13X. Clarence 13X, he was a student of Malcolm X. Clarence 13X was a lieutenant. He was a man that served during the Korean War. Came back into this country, saw that he was not being treated as a man. He joined up with the Nation of Islam. He became very powerful and very influential in that organization. He left the temple, he went out into the street, he started teaching what was taught to him. They improved on it. They broke things down in more simpler terms. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Clarence 13X. No, I'm not a 5%er, but I did study those lessons for many, many years. From a teenager, from what? From 15 to 17 years old. 2 years of study. That's all I did. I didn't have to do no more. I'm still learning. But the more I'm coming face to face with the truth, there's no denying the truth. There's no closing your eyes and pretending that you don't see what you see. Open your fucking eye. Shout out to the chat. I remember when I was living in New York, I was living right there on Saratoga Avenue, one of the last avenues I was living in in New York. Yonkers, New York, that is. And I lived in a Santa Maria neighborhood. So every I believe it was every Thursday around 1 o'clock, the drums would start playing. I learned a lot from living in New York the last time. Five generation New Yorker, got Native American blood running through my veins, got Cape Verdean blood running through my fucking veins. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. 914 Westchester County, New York. We out of here because I got to get up in the next few hours to get ready to go to work anyway. So shout out to the chat. Y'all have an awesome day.